Hello, I'm Brett Craigmile, your agronomic service representative for Syngenta. Today I got with me Dale Ireland, technical product lead for Syngenta for seed care corn and soybeans in the United States. And we're in Valmeyer, Illinois, looking at Syngenta's new fungicide seed treatment, Saltro. We've chosen this location due to the years of experience with sudden death syndrome on this site. It's been pretty well documented, wouldn't you say, Dale, that we've had SDS in this pocket here for quite some time?
Absolutely. This is a great site. Valmeyer, Illinois is known as one of the nation's best SDS sites. It's had SDS here for decades. And that's one of the reasons why Syngenta tests here is it's one of the highest pressure SDS locations in the country.
Well, we want to demonstrate kind of what Saltro is looking like at the site, what a grower can expect to get with this seed treatment, and kind of what it looks like compared to the competition.
So on this side, what we have is Cruiser Max Vibrance plus Saltro. And on this side, this row, we have Cruiser Max Vibrance plus Alivo. What you'll immediately see is a significant difference in plant stand or established stand. Now these were planted at approximately 140,000 seeds per acre. And that's what we're seeing in these rows here is the result several weeks after planting. And immediately you'll see the plant-to-plant variation in this row. What happens with Alivo is the active ingredient in Alivo is much harder for the plant to metabolize. So as it's trying to metabolize that active ingredient, fluopyram, what happens is you have differential growth characteristics. Some plants are able to metabolize it a little better, others are stunted for weeks at a time. You also have the phytotoxicity around some of the cotyledons. Whereas when you compare it to the Saltro treatment on the other side of the row, just a mere 30 inches away, you just see a very, very uniform row. Each plant is essentially an exact duplicate of the next plant. And that's what you want to see. If you're a soybean grower, the last thing you want to see is your soybean crop set back due to something you've applied to it. Now in the past, the only choice we've had was Alivo to protect against sudden death syndrome and nematodes. But today, with Saltro, there is a new option, a safer option for early growth and development. So what you get with Saltro is you get very safe early protection from sudden death syndrome. You have excellent early growth characteristics, nice and healthy, robust beans, very happy beans. Early growth is something both above and below ground that's critical to get your crop off to the right start, to make sure you have below ground the largest root mass possible for uptake of moisture and nutrients. So you really do not want to slow that development down at all.
We're down in the plot getting our hands dirty once again. I'm fortunate enough to have Dale Ireland here with me out in some of his research plots. And Dale, I guess I'll ask, are you okay with us digging up some plants in your trial work?
I don't know. I don't oftentimes get that chance to dig up in my research.
We're gonna give her a shot. So basically what we got going on here, guys, similar to what we were showing you before. The row right in front of me here is Cruiser Max Vibrance with the Alivo. The row in front of us there is Cruiser Max Vibrance with Saltro. We're just gonna go ahead and dig up some plants and see what is going on below ground to see if there's any differences amongst seed treatments for safety concerns. So we basically wanted to be fair. We came in from the beginning of this plot, came in the length of the shovel, just to grab 4 plants to 5 plants at random. So I'm gonna go ahead and have Dale dig up these 4 plants here of the Cruiser Max Vibrance plus Alivo treated soybean seeds. Really wanting to focus on, again, what is going on below ground. We can obviously see some variation in these soybean plants above ground. Oftentimes we think beans can compensate and make up for that above ground, but what we don't often do is do exactly what we're doing now, and that's digging up some roots and seeing what exactly is going on below ground and can it even compensate or make up if there is any differences. So Dale's gonna be washing these roots off and then handing them over to me. Excellent, thank you very much, Dale. We'll just lay these out here for you guys to see here in just a sec. We got 3 nice plants here from this Alivo. I'm still seeing some of that phytotoxicity on those cotyledons there. Getting the last couple plants for us. Excellent, thank you. Even seeing some nodulation on these soybeans. Alrighty, so we got those pulled for you. We're now going to go into the Cruiser Max Vibrance plus Saltro seed treatments directly across, once again coming in the length of the shovel and digging up the next 5 plants in the Saltro seed treatment. So Dale, if you will. Again, when we talk about root development, we are looking at the Saltro seed treatment to see exactly what is going on below ground. We want to make sure these soybeans are getting off to a nice robust start, and ultimately we want to have as much root mass as we possibly can going into reproductive stages, as that is really going to be the food source, the groceries if you will, to fill our soybean pods, remain blooms on, and ultimately maximize our yield potential. So we got Dale here doing a fabulous job tearing up his own research. He's got us several plants here to look at. He's shaking off the dirt there. We're going to be washing these plants.
It's a lot harder to get the soil off all these roots.
Oh, well, that's got to be a good sign if we can't get the soil off the roots. That tells me that there's hopefully quite a bit of root mass there associated with that Saltro seed treatment. So once again, the only difference between these two beans is the SDS product, one containing Elevo, which we just dug up, the second one containing the Saltro seed treatment from Syngenta, that new active ingredient, adaptogenic molecule. So it looks like Dale's doing a good job. Again, it's pretty tough to get all that dirt off those roots, isn't it, with all the roots there?
Much different.
Yep, much difference, he says. I've seen a lot of nodulation coming off those beans as well. Go ahead and hand me those 4 plants. We're going to set these out here for you guys to look at. And wow, Dale, you're right. There is quite a bit of difference here between these roots. Definitely a lot of biomass both above ground and below ground. So this is going to be pretty tough for a soybean plant to try to make up, and it probably will never ever do so below ground with the roots here of Elevo compared to what we're seeing here out of Saltro. So just to kind of summarize some of our findings here from these soybean plants we pulled, again, what we're showing you right here is the Cruiser Max Vibrance plus Saltro seed treatment, Cruiser Max Vibrance plus Elevo seed treatment, and again, noticeably difference above ground biomass and even a below ground biomass. Looking at that Elevo seed treatment, we know it has phytotoxicity above ground. Visually below ground, we're seeing similar things. Again, looking at root development and how that is basically stopped once we start hitting reproductive stages. This is something these Elevo seed treatment soybeans are not going to be able to make up for later on in the season. So pretty good visuals here. These Saltro treated soybeans are off to a really healthy start. These roots are going to be crucial at reproductive stages in order to take up nutrients, take up water to feed these pods, and ultimately maximize our yield potential. So what we're going to be showing you guys here, first I'm in a plot of just straight Cruiser Max Vibrance, which was on each treatment we're going to walk through today as the base. That is just basically a fungicide and insecticide, no SDS solution available on this treatment. First thing you notice right away is that this site, as we referenced, has a lot of pressure for sudden death syndrome. You see these plants starting to wilt and die down from the top. How that's occurring is we notice these interveinal chlorosis, between the veins are starting to die and get crispy, taking away a lot of photosynthetic material from these beans that we're going to need to really maximize yield. So we moved down the plot just a few rows, still staying with that same Cruiser Max Vibrance base treatment, but I'm standing between 2 different SDS solutions. To my right, we're going to see Elevo. Done a very nice job in previous years of helping growers protect against SDS, but as you can see, we're still getting symptomology in these plants, and we still got a ways to go to harvest. Every day matters when it comes to producing yield in these soybean plants. Look directly to my left is where Syngenta's new Saltro fungicide was applied. The first thing you notice right away is a lack of SDS symptoms. There's definitely some activity of SDS showing up in the lower canopy of these plants, but we've kept these protected for longer periods of time, which has led to greener plants, which means more photosynthesis, which leads to more yield at the end of the day for our growers. That's why we have statistically, over the last several years of research trials, shown a 3 bushel advantage over Elevo under heavy SDS pressure like this site has. So why are we seeing such great levels of control of SDS with Saltro over Elevo? It really goes back to the adaptogenic molecule. It's a very potent active ingredient on Fusarium, which is the causal agent of sudden death syndrome. A lot of times we compare SDS, SCN, they go hand in hand together. And what we're also finding is that this molecule is also very potent on soybean cyst nematode as well. Whether that's a juvenile, an egg, or adult, we've got activity on all three.
So in summary, Saltro really offers the U.S. soybean grower a superior SDS and nematode solution for the following reason. Not only does Saltro protect very well against early SDS, it has much more growth both below and above ground. It also has very good nematode protection. Saltro offers superior SDS protection without the stress.